height can take you up,
take you down.
so you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why.
It's volume 28, number 36, which recently caught headlines. Obama courts Muslim world. Two very powerful, power-packed editions of the greatest newspaper on the planet, The Final Call. Now, this evening we have a very, very special guest. We have a brother who's a long-time fighter in the cause of Islam here in the city of Denver in the state of Colorado, as well as other states around the country. He serves as one of our laborers here in the city of Denver. He's also an illustrious member of a group called the Allah Team.
Yes,
we want to welcome Brother Herman Muhammad, a.k.a. King Savior, to the program.
Sound like a peace guy.
Yes, sir. Now, first, brother, before we get into the articles, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and I mentioned the Allah Team. Tell the people a little bit about the Allah Team and your work that you're doing with them.
Yes, sir. I came into Islam at the age of 17 years old back in 1991. I joined, I joined a group called the 5% Nation of Islam. With that, my brother, David, at the time, had registered with the mosque, who was also in the 5% Nation, and he introduced me into a more, we always refer to the Nation of Islam as the military. So if you wanted the physical aspect of discipline in the military, then you would actually enlist yourself in the army. So that's what many of us did, and being a 5%er and in the Nation of Islam, we kind of were put in the middle of everything, because some people had a misconception of the 5% Nation, and 5%ers have a misconception of the Nation of Islam. So it kind of put us in a dynamic where we were alone. So the brothers that were actually a part of that, we became what we call the Allah Team. Right. And basically what that is, it's not an organization or a nation within a nation or a group within a group. It's just a group of brothers that decided to take their life and sacrifice it for the cause of defending the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and proving that indeed the black man is God. Yes, sir.
Now, for our viewers who do not know, why don't you just give them just a basic synopsis or difference between what is the 5% Nation, how did we get that name? Is there a difference between the 5% and the Nation of Islam?
Yes, sir. Well, in the difference is there's really no difference, because the man who started the 5% Nation came out of the Mosque number 7. His name was Clarence 13X. When he came out of the mosque, based on the degrees on the rules of Islam, who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. And then also when you're dealing with, in Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, question number 1, who made Holy Quran or Bible? How long ago? It says the Holy Quran or Bible was made by the original man, who is Allah. Well, based on that, the father, who we acknowledge the father is Clarence 13X, he took on the name Allah. Now, he started the 5% Nation by accident, because what he did at that time, the youth of New York, a lot of them didn't have fathers. A lot of them were actually running around the streets, hustling and doing things like that. So what happened at that time, and even today, you really couldn't get your ex until you were 16 years of age.
Right.
So what he did is gave the lessons to young people as a form of discipline in the streets and give them the knowledge of themselves. Henceforth, the 5% Nation came alive. Is there a difference? Well, not necessarily in terms of the teaching. The 5%, we do not have basically captains or ministers or somebody to enforce discipline, if you will. So it's self-discipline that you have to have, which to me is 10 times harder, because when you don't have somebody trying to show you and force that upon you, it's a little bit harder to deal with. So it was more of having the mosque in the street, per se. Even though the Nation of Islam was heavily in the street at that time, there was never a campaign geared towards the youth, and that's what the 5% Nation was geared for, was for the youth.
Yes, sir. Now, what would you say that the mission of the Allah team is?
The Allah team, our mission is specifically to prove that the black man is God, to prove that the righteous are Muslims, the 5% is the Muslim, based on what we say the knowledge equality degree, or the 16th degree in laws found Muslim, that's number 2, is who is the 5% of the poor part of planet Earth. They are the poor righteous teachers, those who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%, who are all wise and know the living God and teach the living God as the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia. Also teach freedom, justice, equality, and human family on planet Earth, otherwise known as civilized people, also Muslim sons. Well, based on that degree, we know and understand that the righteous are Muslim by nature. Well, now you have a core group of people now calling themselves Nation of Gods on Earth who don't acknowledge themselves as Muslims but acknowledge themselves as God. But the 5% Nation and the Allah team is what we are. The 5% Nation of Islam, or the Nation of Islam in general. The Nation of Islam is 4,400,000,000 black men and women ascended a true godly state. That's the nation.
Right.
So when we say that, that includes Latino brothers, that includes the Nation of Islam, that includes Silas Muhammad, that includes the Muslim Society, that includes the Muslims in Africa. It deals with everybody. That is the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir. Very good. Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. What we want to do is we want to go to the first piece in the paper, and we're going to come out of volume 28, number 36. And that's the one that deals with Obama and his courting of the Muslim world.
Yes, sir.
And the subline underneath that reads, "Can popular president restore U.S. image and bring peace?" And this article begins on page 2 of this particular edition of the Final Call newspaper, and is written by Askia Muhammad, who's our senior correspondent who writes out of Washington, D.C. Brilliant, beautiful brother. First off, before we get into it, how would you assess President Obama thus far?
Well, thus far, to me, it's really not, it's too soon. You know, the first year to me will be his greatest groundwork. He definitely has a big job, if you will, to take care of, especially dealing with the economy and different things that the war in Iraq has caused and so forth. But overall, I mean, I can't deny